So do you have the Sony ZV-1 and you want to be able to take advantage of the widest portion of the lens without using any electronic image stabilization, but make it smooth? Because right now it's all jerky, but we can change it from this to this just by a simple little tip and trick. That's coming up today on Tuesdays, Tips and Tricks with Worth It or Not, coming right up. Now to let you know, to help me get a little bit of extra added field of view, I do have a very short little tripod pole that is made by Ulanzi, and I'll put that in the description below. It only adds about 8 to 10 inches, but it's just enough to help you with the field of view. Electronic image stabilization is completely turned off on this camera, but you still get, or at least I'm still getting, really nice smooth footage out of this. And you can even use it with the Canon M50, which I'll show you here in a second. But it's a simple little trick, and I thought I'd pass it on to all of you Sony ZV-1 owners out there that actually do want to use this as a vlogging camera, and it's a very easy little trick to do. Okay, now to get into this tip and trick, the NLE that I use, the editing software, is Adobe Premiere Pro. So what I'll do is I'll import a clip. Let me find it here. Let's just do this intro part. This is the intro to this video. Put on the timeline. I'm going to get rid of the audio because we just don't need it right now. So kind of scrubbing through. You see that it is very wobbly. Now I'm going to back it up to where it was pretty wobbly, right about there. I'm going to trim this down just a hair. Now, I'm going to trim this end down too because we don't need to make this really long. Everybody's heard of warp stabilizer. Now, the problem with warp stabilizer is how to use it. So, come on down, find warp stabilizer, grab it, put it onto the clip. Automatically, if you look right here, it wants to do it at 50%. Change that to 1%. And I'm going to show you right now what 50% looks like. So when you look at the 50%, you see it's get this jello effect, and then every once in a while it'll kind of pulse in, and that's something that you don't want. Now you would think that putting the smoothness here at 1% would actually not give you a whole lot of stabilization, but it actually does. And I'm just going to fast forward through this portion right now so it can finish analyzing and stabilizing. Okay, so now the footage is stabilized, so when we click play, you can see that it is nice and stable. It's not all jerky like it was before, and that's with only 1% smoothness instead of the default 50%. Because like I said, 50% is just enormous, and it's just a quick little tool that you can use, that if you don't want to use the standard stabilization on the Sony ZV-1, or if you don't want to use the active where it really crops in the image and it still gives you that little wobbly effect, you can do this and turn off stabilization completely so you get the widest angle view possible on a Sony ZV-1. And this right here will just be able to save you a lot of that whole shaky footage look, and it just makes it look a whole lot better. And what I'll do now is I'll actually show you what it looks like side by side. But you know what? Let's do it with the Canon M50, because I just showed you with the Sony ZV-1. I want to show you the Canon M50 unstabilized, then stabilized, and then side by side, so that you can actually see the difference in it. Does it crop in slightly? Yes, I would probably say it's about a 1 to 2% crop that it does with the smoothness set at 1%. But you know what? All in all, that is a small price to pay to really stabilize very shaky footage and not have all that warpy effect that a lot of people have, because a lot of people think that when you set the smoothness to like a 50% or 100%, it's really going to smooth out the footage. What it actually does, it just totally destroys the footage and makes it look horrible. So let's take a look at that now. Now I'm doing the same thing with the Canon M50 with this little extension pole just to give a little bit of a reach so that you can vlog with it, but it's not ridiculous where it's a 2 or 3 foot long pole. But this is just walking around as it is, and then we'll just add a little bit of stabilization to it. And actually what I'll do is I'll leave this footage like it is, and then I'll go back and fix the stabilization so you can see how smooth that it looks, and then I'll do side by side so you can really see how just this little tip helps out so much. Now I'm doing the same thing with the Canon M50 with this little extension pole just to give a little bit of a reach so that you can vlog with it, but it's not ridiculous where it's a 2 or 3 foot long pole. But this is just walking around as it is, and then we'll just add a little bit of stabilization to it. And actually what I'll do is I'll leave this footage like it is, and then I'll go back and fix the stabilization so you can see how smooth that it looks, and then I'll do side by side so you can really see how just this little tip helps out so much. Now I'm doing the same thing with the Canon M50 with this little extension pole just to give a little bit of a reach so that you can vlog with it, but it's not ridiculous where it's a 2 or 3 foot long pole. But this is just walking around as it is, and then we'll just add a little bit of stabilization to it. And actually what I'll do is I'll leave this footage like it is, and then I'll go back and fix the stabilization so you can see how smooth that it looks, and then I'll do side by side so you can really see how just this little tip helps out so much. So that is my little Tuesday tips and tricks for all of you out there that have the Sony ZV-1 or Canon M50 or even a Lumix G7 or any other camera out there that it just doesn't have good image stabilization. If you're using Adobe Premiere Pro, you can smooth it out very easily with this simple little trick. By the way, if you like this little trick and you thought it was helpful, give the video a thumbs up. Be sure to share it around, and also, hey, if you're not a subscriber, consider subscribing today and click on that little bell. It does help this channel grow, and I'm really wanting to grow in the latter half of 2020. Until the next video, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye. So, do you have a Sony ZV-1 or even a Canon M50, and you want to be able to get nice... Fucking bug flew in my ear.